Presenting company number 3, Joe Long, President, Surge Automatic.
Thanks, John. Surge Automated. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Well, thanks for the introduction. And first, I want to comment, it's been a great group. Some of these presenting companies are really intriguing, and I'm excited. But with that, Surge Automated, we are a company that is delivering digital identity and age verification solutions. Our vision, I guess, first of all, I should present my deck. John.
Minor details, right?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you okay, Joe. If you can find your deck, great. If not, just go ahead.
No, it's right here. I just neglected to share.
Yeah, no worries.
Technical challenges. Okay. So as we were talking, our vision is to establish the standard in safety and security for all unattended, age-restricted product sales. And that's very specific here for the cannabis industry. Now, our business mission is to leverage the various industry trends and the market drivers so we can capture a share of the roughly 580 million transactions that are taking place in the marijuana category currently. So I want to take a second to touch on some of these trends and the drivers and really the inflection point that it's brought us to. So as we all know, COVID has really accelerated leveraging of e-commerce, and specifically in marijuana and age-restricted products, somewhat in general. Now, the key here is that age-restricted retailers, as it relates to e-commerce, are facing some significant legal challenges. And that comes from existing case law. So anybody here that's experienced navigating to a website, you see the question, are you 21? That's a self-reported gateway. And case law simply won't support that. In other words, if somebody brings up an issue with a retailer, they will lose. Other issues that we need to really be paying attention to as a result of the expansion in e-commerce, of course, is the level and rate of fraud, both identity theft, monetary fraud, and of course, then we have the age violation components. So as I'd mentioned earlier, we have safety and security in setting that standards. And what we're doing to help support both the retailers as well as the ecosystem that supports them, e-commerce providers, logistics and delivery, things of that nature, is taking away the overhead or the burden of what I like to call the alphabet soup of regulations. So once age-restricted products have gone into e-commerce, they're now subject to a series of regulations that are well outside of the industry, in addition to the industry. And we can touch on the alphabet soup whenever you'd like to get into more detail. Now, we've also gone further and made it very, very easy for them to install our solution set in any aspect of the digital workflow. So you can establish that security gateway at the point of entry or at the point of transaction, and of course, closing the chain of custody at the point of delivery. Now, the underlying magic in how we're helping to protect the consumer is by using layered security. Okay, so what we're doing is we're preventing and obfuscating any potential use of personally identifying information. Okay, and we're using a two-key system. In essence, we're identifying and validating the individual against their government ID, confirming that person matches. Okay, and then from there, it's a very simple methodology to verify in a digital workflow this person is who they say they are and they're of legal age. We also do not share any information. We don't aggregate information to sell downstream. This is truly meant to be a vault, i.e. the name Surge Vault, like security product that individuals can use for this purpose. Now, getting into the business model, we are recurring revenue and we are a software as a service provider. We will be charging a monthly subscription fee, and then a per transaction or a verification will range from 50 cents to $1. Now, that variability comes from the fact that we are a volume-based business. We will be driving the reduced cost to current and new clients as that volume increases, while simultaneously increasing our spread or our margin. So we'll be sharing a portion of that cost reduction. The balance of our revenue will be coming from ancillary elements such as lease revenue from vending units, intelligent locker units, as well as consulting and professional services. Now, our go-to-market roadmap, we've delivered exceptionally well. About 2 years ago, we started the journey of sitting down with the Marijuana Enforcement Division here in Colorado, demonstrated our proof of concept, and they completely bought into the efficacy. Subsequently, our solution set and the capacity or capability has been embedded into the Colorado regulations. Product development is progressing exceptionally well, and we've actually advanced, and today we're accepted to the National Association of Cannabis Businesses, and moving forward our standard for the use of this technology. We've got 3 clients that we're actively engaged in as part of our pilot initiative, and we're now moving forward with conversations around some of these ecosystem providers like e-commerce, POS, and things of that nature. Now, our competition, this is not a new industry. It has been in general commercial use for 11 years or so, since about 2010. I heard some of the folks here have got some background in financial services or fintech, which was my background. So this may sound somewhat familiar to you. GBG, FraudNet, some of these larger global providers have built their technology just like they did in 2010. It's event driven, meaning you do it once, you walk away, you never have to deal with it again. And that's probably good because the older systems are a little burdensome. We've turned that on its head. We're using the same depth of know your
6 minutes.
Thank you. We use the same depth of know your customer that the financial institutions use, but we then convert that into a transactional model. Our leadership team, briefly, well over 100 years, believe it or not, of experience across fintech, production, consumer products, technology, and marketing and development. Into the numbers. We talked about 580 million available transactions. We've taken a very conservative approach. We're looking at a roughly, assuming a 2% penetration rate, within 3 years we'll be well over $11 million. And you can see that scalability and revenue top line is nothing but upside. I want to touch that cannabis only represents 580 million transactions. Age-restricted products exceed 3 billion in North America on an annual basis. Everybody has access to the deck, so I'll let you go through those details that support our roadmap. Our ask is $1 million broken into tranches based on our business model, or I should say our business roadmap. We can certainly have more conversations about those details offline. Our exit is based on acquisition. The industry has grown over the last 11 years by acquisition in vertical market. We are relying on that, and that trend is still continuing forward. With that, thanks very much for your time. Looking forward to your questions.
Okay. Questions?
There are hands up,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Hands are up, John. Ted, Zach.
Okay, Ted, if you want to go forward, then we'll take Zach.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Nice presentation. 2 quick questions sort of related to the technology and the rollout. So first of all, do you have fully operational software right now that is being deployed in various sites, or is it just demoware or alpha, beta? How would you characterize the software?
Sure. You could literally look to virtually any identity verification software. If you've ever opened a bank account online, there's a process that you have to go through. That is the same underlying technology. We're taking and adding a layer on top that creates an account-centric methodology, and that's what enables the transactional component.
Okay, great. And then related to that, tell me your value proposition relative to sort of the really old school way of just like actually flashing your ID on camera and logging it in the spreadsheet or something like that. Why will people pay for this additional service?
No, absolutely. And it's interesting. My fintech background, that was a methodology that has been used and is still supported from a regulatory standpoint. However, imagine the consumer experience when you go in, you want to order a product to either go pick it up or to have it delivered. Do you want to engage in a web session? Do you want to have a conversation? And how you doing? Most people don't.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
You bet.
Zach?
Okay, yes, so how much money's been spent on the software so far? And then also, what is my return on $1 million, and how is the $1 million going to be spent moving forward?
Great question. So friends and family, as well as individual founders and co-founders, will have to look at our recent taxes, but I think we're about $250,000 in, about 100,000 in cash. The $1 million investment over 3 years, we're anticipating at least a 5x, quite likely getting closer to a 10x return, and the 10x would be closer to the 5-year.